If an archaeologist found a VR headset 1,000 years from now, would they have any idea what it was? Would they figure out how it worked, why it existed, or what it even meant to the people who used it? Well, honestly, we can't be sure, but odds are they'd be just as baffled as we are when we stumble across ancient artifacts crafted by civilizations long gone. And trust me, there's no shortage of those jaw-droppers in this video. So, without further ado, let's start off with number 15, ancient golf in China. Well, most people today think golf was born in Scotland during the 15th century. History, though, has a way of throwing curveballs, like it always does. Long before Scottish golf courses existed, a game called Chuan was thriving among China's elite. Proof? A 1,000-year-old ceramic golf ball shows that this game was very real. Chuan involved players using sticks to knock balls into holes, more like precision putting than today's long drives. These ceramic balls were built tough, which is why over 1,800 have survived. Court paintings even show Emperor Xuan of the Ming Dynasty enjoying the game, with historians suggesting it was one of his favorite pastimes. Unlike modern golf, these balls barely lifted off the ground, rolling across finely woven carpets rather than grassy fields. Some ancient illustrations hint at a team version of Chuan, similar to hockey, but no solid evidence has confirmed that yet. Still, this tiny ball offers a huge reminder that golf's roots run far deeper and more globally than most of us ever realized. Number 14. Phoenician gold pendant. Back in 2012, during the Ophel excavations near Jerusalem's Old City, a tiny but extraordinary artifact emerged, though its significance wasn't publicly announced until 2024. Measuring just 4 by 4 by 2 millimeters, the 3,000-year-old Phoenician pendant is made of electrum, a natural gold-silver alloy. Its delicate basket shape links it stylistically to other pendants found at Phoenician coastal sites. Based on its archaeological context, experts date the piece to the 10th century BC, the same era when the Bible describes Phoenician craftsmen helping to build King David's palace. Some suggest this pendant supports those biblical accounts, while others argue it might simply have arrived through trade, given the Phoenicians' renowned reputation as seafarers and merchants. Either way, its presence in Jerusalem adds another layer to the city's complex ancient history, hinting at vibrant cultural exchanges, skilled craftsmanship, and interconnected worlds long before the rise of empires that would dominate the region. Number 13. Canaanite cultic artifacts at Tel Shimron. During a dig at Tel Shimron, archaeologists from Wheaton College and Tel Aviv University uncovered something rare, a favissa, a hidden cache of cultic objects from the Middle Bronze Age. Inside what remains of a white monumental building, they found thousands of artifacts, suggesting an intense burst of ceremonial activity. Over 40,000 charred animal bones, mostly from sheep, cattle, and goats, filled the room, alongside an astonishing 57,000 pottery fragments. Among them was a shard from a Minoan jug, only the third Minoan artifact ever found in Israel. Small jugs and bowls hinted at ritual offerings, while 2 bronze bull figurines stood out. Scholars believe these might represent either El, the chief Canaanite god, or Baaa, the storm deity often mentioned in the Old Testament. The lack of clear layering inside the favissa suggests everything was placed in a single event or a flurry of ceremonies. It's a snapshot of ancient devotion, captured and sealed beneath the soil for thousands of years. Number 12. Golden neck ring in Denmark. Winter of 2022 brought a dazzling surprise from Denmark's Jutland Peninsula. In Esbjerg, archaeologists uncovered a breathtaking golden neck ring that experts immediately described as having an almost divine beauty. Dating back to the Germanic age, the one-of-a-kind piece is estimated to be between 1,400 and 1,700 years old. It's massive, 8 inches across at its widest point, and its surface is covered with thousands of delicate crescent-shaped impressions. While a few similar artifacts have surfaced before in Denmark, fewer than a dozen exist. making this find exceptionally rare. Everything about the neck ring suggests it was a prized possession, likely hidden to protect it from raiders or invaders. There's no indication that it was part of a burial or religious offering. It seems more like someone buried it for safekeeping and never returned. Despite lying underground for over a millennium, the ring remains in remarkable condition, its intricate craftsmanship still shining as though its creator finished it yesterday. It's now destined for a place of honor in a museum. We're sure the ladies are gonna love it. Number 11. Japan's Kofun tombs. Japan's Kofun tombs, ancient burial mounds shaped like keyholes, have fascinated researchers for generations. In early 2022, satellite imagery revealed something astonishing. Every Kofun across the country aligns with the rising sun. The uniformity of their orientation suggests a deep spiritual or symbolic purpose, though exactly what remains unknown. Dating from the 3rd to the 7th century, these burial sites were constructed for the elite rulers, warriors, and nobles of ancient Japan. Archaeologists can only speculate, as Japan's strict cultural protections forbid direct excavation of many Kofun. Tradition holds that these sites are linked to Japan's legendary first emperors, making them sacred ground. The largest, the Daisen Kofun, dedicated to Emperor Nintoku, spans an area so vast that it rivals Egypt's pyramids in scale. Thanks to satellites, we now glimpse the greater cosmic vision behind these monumental structures, a civilization silently paying homage to celestial forces while laying their dead to rest beneath carefully aligned hills of earth. Number 10. Treasure discovery in Suzdal-Opoli. There's something magical about finding treasure where nobody thought to look. In 2021, deep in Russia's Suzdal-Opoli region near the Nurol-Klyazminskaya River, archaeologists found a stunning hoard they never saw coming. They had already mapped out what they believed was an ancient settlement and assumed the land had given up all its secrets. But they were wrong. The find kicked off when fragments of jewelry, likely churned up by farming, started appearing at the surface. Excited by the clues, researchers dug a fresh pit 6 feet wide and 6 feet deep. What they unearthed was extraordinary. A metal bowl, ornate ornaments from what must have been a woman's clothing, 3 beaded bracelets, and around 300 individual beads that once decorated fabric. The designs matched the style of the Volga Finns, a people who lived in northeastern Russia long before the Slavs arrived. But perhaps the oddest find was a leather cord strung with 6 hollow duck-shaped pendants. What they meant remains an unsolved mystery. Number 9. The Anchor Church Caves. Hidden in the quiet English countryside of Derbyshire, the Anchor Church Caves have long puzzled archaeologists. Carved painstakingly into the rock, they were clearly someone's home. But whose? Until recently, most believed the caves were an 18th century folly, an ornamental curiosity. Then, in July 2021, new research suggested something far more fascinating. The caves might have been the 9th century hideout of King Eardwulf of Northumbria. Historical records say he was deposed in 806, lived in exile, and was buried at Bredon-on-the-Hill, just a few miles away. That timeline matches perfectly with the features inside the cave: preserved floors, carved windows, and internal doors, showing a sophistication far beyond what a mere folly would require. Stylistic comparisons to the nearby Anglo-Saxon crypt at Ripon strengthen the case. If true, these caves could represent the oldest surviving domestic interior in England, a silent, stone-carved witness to one king's fall from power and desperate fight for survival. Number 8. Burial urns unearthed in Iran. July 2022 brought a rare find in Ahvaz, the capital of Iran's Khuzestan province, where an oil drilling project accidentally uncovered an ancient cemetery. What made this burial ground unusual wasn't just its age, around 2,000 years old, but the striking method of burial itself. Instead of traditional graves, the dead were interred inside enormous urns, each carefully oriented toward a nearby river. This deliberate alignment suggests the influence of Mithraism, a religious tradition centered on the sun, contracts, and justice before Zoroastrianism rose to dominance. Earthen burials were typically reserved for infants and children in this era, but the Avaz urns mostly held adult remains. That distinction hints at a regional variation in funerary practice, or perhaps a deeper symbolic meaning tied to the river's flow. Archaeologists raced against time, knowing that oil drilling would soon resume. Though more treasures may lie hidden underground, the site's brief glimpse into ancient spiritual life in Iran offers a rare, haunting echo from a world nearly forgotten. Number 7. Underground city of Mardin in Turkey. In April 2022, archaeologists working beneath Mardin, a historic city in southeastern Turkey, uncovered the entrance to an ancient underground metropolis that may turn out to be the largest of its kind ever found. So far, only about 3% of the vast network has been excavated, but it already reveals a cityscape filled with tunnels, chambers, religious spaces, and living quarters. Named Mardin, meaning City of Caves, this hidden world is believed to date back around 1,900 years, possibly built as a refuge during times of persecution. Early Christians who faced threats from the Roman authorities may have used it as a sanctuary. Estimates suggest that at its peak, Mardin could have sheltered up to 70,000 people underground. Its existence remained unknown for centuries, despite being located within an area already rich with archaeological significance and recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. With each day of excavation, more of Mardin's sprawling complexity emerges, offering a rare glimpse into how whole communities once survived entirely out of sight. Number 6. Civil War and the Fall of the Maya Empire. The collapse of the Maya civilization in the 8th century has puzzled historians for decades. Drought, overpopulation, and ecological disaster have all been proposed, but a growing body of evidence hints at another cause: civil war. Across Mexico, Belize, and Honduras, archaeologists have uncovered trophy skulls dated to the critical period of Maya decline. One skull, unearthed at Pakalna in southern Belize, bears fire and animal motifs, symbols tied with northern Maya military factions. Scientific studies show that other skulls also belong to individuals from the northern territories, suggesting armed conflict between once united Maya regions. This paints a grim picture of a civilization turning on itself, possibly fragmenting under internal pressures. If military forces from the north march southward, as the evidence suggests, the political chaos might have accelerated the Maya's downfall. Though drought and environmental decline still likely played a role, the idea that civil war helped shatter the empire is now seen as a real and chilling possibility. Number 5. The unfinished Kos of Apollonus. On the Greek island of Naxos, a colossal marble figure lies abandoned in an ancient quarry, a frozen moment from nearly 2,700 years ago. Known as the Kos of Apollonus, this unfinished statue of Dionysus stretches 35 feet long and weighs an astonishing 88 tons. It's believed the artisans began carving it directly from the marble bedrock, but somewhere along the way, work ceased, leaving behind a stunning relic of ambition and artistry. Earlier scholars once thought the figure depicted Apollo, but closer studies of the bearded face shifted the consensus toward Dionysus. Even today, traces of the chisels and hammers used in its creation remain clearly visible around the head, offering a tactile link to the craftsmen who never completed their task. Moving or erecting such a massive figure would have posed enormous challenges, perhaps explaining why it remains prone in the quarry. Despite its unfinished state, the Kos stands as a raw, powerful monument to ancient skill, imagination, and the weight of abandoned dreams. Number 4. Marble Head of Hercules in Greece. The sea off Antikythera, Greece, continues to give up its ancient secrets more than a century after sponge divers first stumbled upon the wreck that yielded the Antikythera mechanism. In June 2022, marine archaeologists found another treasure at the site, the battered marble head of a statue believed to depict Hercules. For decades, the fragment lay hidden among the wreckage, mistaken for an ordinary rock due to its worn, misshapen appearance. It wasn't until divers also unearthed the statue's plinth and partial legs that they realized what had been lying in front of them all along. The ship, a Roman-era vessel thought to have sunk around 60 BCE, likely carried luxury goods across the Mediterranean toward Rome. Alongside the head, divers recovered human teeth embedded in marine deposits, grim reminders that not everyone escaped the disaster. Each discovery adds layers to the story of a doomed voyage, a reminder that beneath the Mediterranean's serene surface, pieces of forgotten lives still wait to be found. Number 3. Medieval silver badge from Yorkshire. Before memes flooded the internet, medieval society had its own clever way of poking fun, and sometimes it was just as weird. In 2020, a silver badge surfaced in Pontefract, Yorkshire, featuring a knight awkwardly emerging from a snail shell perched atop a goat. To a modern eye, it's bizarre, but it made perfect sense in its time. Back then, snails symbolized cowardice, and the badge likely served as a public jab, maybe at a cowardly knight, a rival noble, or an enemy who fled battle. Produced during the 13th century, it would have been passed around for laughs, much like memes today. Historians believe it was mass-produced and worn to mock the upper class or lampoon political opponents. While the humor feels absurd now, it reminds us that satire and ridicule are as old as society itself. Somewhere, in a long-forgotten gathering hall, people probably cracked up at the sight of a proud knight reduced to a snail's slow, humiliating crawl. Number 2. Ninja weapons at the Siege of Odawara. Feudal Japan's bloody history holds many mysteries, and some of them might have surfaced from the 1590 Siege of Odawara. Buried in the ruins, a collection of sharpened stones and clay caltrops has historians debating whether they represent the earliest ninja weapons. At first, the flat stones could be mistaken for random debris, but specialists like Akihiro Iada have drawn clear parallels between these artifacts and the throwing stars that would become iconic a century later. Even more compelling is the discovery of makibishi caltrops, spiked objects designed to maim enemies on foot, found alongside them. While it's a stretch to say ninjas were active during the siege itself, it's entirely plausible that these battlefield inventions sparked the creation of ninjutsu. What's certain is that popular culture's portrayal of ninjas, with their exaggerated stealth and mysticism, barely scratches the surface of their real gritty origins. Here, hidden in the ruins of Odawara, is where the true blood-stained story of Japan's shadow warriors may have quietly begun. Number 1. Megalithic mysteries of Asuka. In the quiet village of Asuka, Japan, enormous stone structures whisper secrets of a forgotten age. The centerpiece, known as the Sakafune-shi, is a carved granite monument featuring deep grooves and channels that defy simple explanation. Nearby lies the rock ship of Masuda, an immense block measuring 36 feet in length and standing nearly 17 feet tall. Its smooth surfaces and precise cuts seem almost beyond the capability of ancient tools. Legends say the gods themselves crafted these stones, and many locals remain wary of disturbing them even today. Another structure, the Ishibutai Kofun, showcases an engineering feat, a megalith weighing an estimated 600 tons, delicately shaped with no trace of the tools used. Archaeologists remain divided on whether these monuments served religious, astronomical, or even political purposes. Whatever their origin, the stones of Asuka continue to stand as silent testaments to a time when artistry, spirituality, and ambition carved their mark into the very bones of the earth. If you have enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.